Ben had heard the same thing all his life. Go to school, find a good job, and then work hard for the next 40 years. Get up at 6 in the morning, stand in traffic jams, put up with a boss who is smarter than you just because he has a tie, and every month save 20% of your salary into a retirement account. What for? And because when you turn 65 and your knees crackle louder than the branches beneath you, you'll finally be allowed to stop working and enjoy life. Ben imagined it and almost cried. Endure for 40 years? For what? To buy yourself a banana cane at 65? This is the standard way. He's slow, he's sad, and to be honest, he sucks. But what if I tell you that there is a mathematical cheat code? What if there is a specific figure, a specific amount of money that you can save up by the age of 35, and after that, you will never have to save for retirement again? You don't stop working at all. You just stop saving up. Imagine, your entire salary is yours. You spend it on yourself, on life, on all sorts of nonsense, knowing that your old age is already secured. This is not a fantasy. It's called Coast Fire. And if you don't know your number, you're probably working a lot harder than you need to. Hi, I'm Ben, and yes, I'm a monkey who's obsessed with finding ways to regain my freedom without working myself blue in the face. Most financial advice is advice on limits. Don't drink a latte today so you can buy yourself a better latte at 65. Ben tried not to drink lattes once. He saved $5, and he was unhappy. Then he realized that $5 wouldn't buy happiness, but a cup of coffee would. If you're tired of 40 years of routine and want to find out the exact mathematical path to freedom, you've come to the right place. Today, Ben will talk about Coast Fire. What is it? How mathematics works, and most importantly, how to find your number. Let's go. What is Coast Fire? You've probably heard of the regular fire. These guys save 70% of their income, eat rice and buckwheat, and retire at age 30 with $1 million in their pocket. Cool, but it's really hard. Ben tried to eat only buckwheat. He lasted 3 days and ate his pillow. Coast Fire is another level. This is the Goldilocks zone. Look, imagine you're building a snowman. The hardest part is getting started. You have a tiny snowball in your hands. You push him through the snow, your back hurts, you sweat, and he barely grows. Ben was building a snowman once, and after 5 minutes he wanted to quit, but he continued because he's stubborn. These are your 20 or 30 years. You work hard, you save up the first 10,000, the first 50,000. It's hard because money doesn't work for you yet. But what happens then? You drag this snowball to the top of the mountain. It's already huge, heavy, and then you let him go. Gravity is doing its job. The snowball rolls by itself, grows, gets bigger, and it doesn't care if you push it or not. That moment, when you let go of the snowball, is your Coast Fire number. This is the point where you've saved up enough for compound interest to do the rest of the work for you. You just live, and money multiplies itself. Ben imagined it as a banana tree. If you plant a small tree, you need to water it every day. But when it grows, it produces bananas on its own. Coast Fire is when your tree has grown. You can lie in a hammock and the bananas fall by themselves. Dave is the right guy. He does everything as in the textbook. He goes to work, which he hates because they pay there. Every month, like a robot, he transfers $500 into his retirement account. He's been doing this for 40 years straight, even when it's his birthday, even when he wants to buy himself something nice. Dave tolerates it. At 65, with an average return of 8%, Dave will have $1,700,000. Not bad, but he's been denying himself for 40 years. He never ate an extra banana. He never went to the movies, bought himself a cool hoodie, or went to the beach. Dave just worked and saved up. And now he has $1,700,000 and a bad back. Mike is a psycho. From the age of 25 to 35, he lives modestly, plows like a slave, and invests everything he can. He doesn't go to restaurants, he doesn't buy new appliances, but he has a purpose. By the age of 35, Mike has $250,000 and everything. At 35, Mike says, "Thanks, I've saved up." He doesn't invest a cent anymore. Every month, Mike spends his entire salary on travel, on a beautiful apartment, on expensive purchases. He lives high. He works, but not because he has to. to, but because he wants to. He can change jobs to simpler ones because he doesn't need to save anymore, and he just left those $250,000 alone for 30 years. And at the same 8% per annum, when Mike turns 65, he will have $2,500,000. Dave worked hard for 40 years and got $1,700,000. Mike worked hard for 10 years, relaxed for 30 years, and got $2,500,000. Mike beat Dave because he allowed compound interest to work at the most important time, in the middle of life. Ben looked at this story and thought, I definitely want to be Mike. Dave is sad. That's the magic of Coastfire. Once you've thrown a snowball at the top, you're free. Math is cool. But psychology is what it was all about. Ben is probably stressed right now. Ben earns $5,000 a month, but he knows he has to save $1,000. So he lives on $4,000 and is still afraid that he doesn't save enough. Ben was afraid to spend an extra banana and then realized that it was stupid to be afraid. When you reach your Coastfire number, that fear disappears. Let's say Ben has a figure of $250,000. As soon as Ben has $250,000 in his portfolio, he finds a new level of freedom. Suddenly, he doesn't need the job he hated, even if it pays $120,000 a year. Why is he plowing on it? To save for retirement? So the pension is already being prepared in the oven. You can quit and go to a job for $70,000 which you enjoy. Yes, the salary is lower, but you will live better because all $70,000 are yours. You're switching from accumulation mode to maintenance mode. You just need to cover the running costs. Ben did just that. He saved up his money, quit his hated job, and now works at the zoo, showing kids how to count money. He's having fun, and there are bananas. This is absolute freedom. How do I find my number? We need to work in the opposite direction. 2 steps. The first step, the ultimate goal. How much money do you need at the age of 65 in today's money? There is a 25 rule. You take your desired annual retirement expenses and multiply them by 25. Example, you want to spend $80,000 a year. 80,000 times 25 equals $2 million. That's your goal at 65. Step 2. Reverse calculation. How much does it take today for this amount to grow to $2 million by itself in 35 years? We take a compound interest calculator. Let's say you're 30 years old. Up to 65, 35 years. We take a conservative yield of 7%, which is already adjusted for inflation. We enter the numbers. What amount in 35 years will give $2 million? About $190,000. Here's your number. If you're 30 and you have $190,000 in index funds, you technically can no longer save for retirement at all. If you don't have $190,000 yet, that's your main goal. Forget about everything else. Work until you reach that number, because once you reach it, life gets easier. Ben counted his number. He still has $50,000. He put a sticker on the wall. $140,000 left. And she looks at him every day. That's his motivation. I can already hear, Ben, what about inflation? And if the market collapses? And if I want to retire at 50? Yes, inflation is real. That's why we're counting at a conservative 7%, not 10. Yes, the market will fall, but for 30 years he has always been recovering. We play for a long time. Ben has seen the market fall many times. He wasn't panicking. He was just waiting, and the bananas were coming back. And yes, Coastfire is not about quitting at 30. 5. You still need to work to live today. If you want to retire completely at 50, you need a regular fire. Coastfire is about something else. It's about removing the biggest fear of adulthood, the fear of being left without money in old age. Ben used to be afraid of this dream. He dreamed that he was old, without bananas, and everyone was laughing. Now he dreams that he is lying in a hammock and bananas are falling from the sky. Most people run a marathon and don't see the finish line. They just run until they fall. Ben had seen them. They're running, panting, but they don't stop because they're afraid. What's to be afraid of if there's no finish line? Coastfire puts you on the finish line in the middle of the race. It allows you to exhale and start enjoying life now, in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, rather than waiting for the best years to be behind you. Find your number, write it where you see it every day, and run to her until you get there. And when you get there, Ben will teach you what to do with freedom. Spoiler alert, do nothing. If this video made you think, click like. The algorithm should show it to those who are still running to nowhere. Subscribe if you want more videos about how to hack the financial system and stop being afraid. Ben was with you. And remember, money has to work, but you don't. Ben went to eat a banana. See you in the next video.